Alright, so the purpose of this video is for tech support, operation support positions to get a little more familiar with some of the ways that Python is set up on development machines, because you may have to support these machines and you normally aren't using Python in your daily position. So this is not an in-depth look at Python. This is just how you might find a developer's PC and how to work on it without changing things around, as that would be bad in a development situation. I've tried to script this a few times and it always came out confusing because of the term Python being used as a command, an interpreter, a location, being from different sources, Microsoft, the Python Software Foundation. Oh, it's also used as the name of an organization, and also from Anaconda. I decided to just redo the whole video from scratch as an over-the-shoulder tech support training. So there's some unexpected things, and some of it seems long and confusing. Just bear with it. Oh, all right, we are going to continue with the next Python install, and that is the one from the Python Software Foundation, and that is the non-Microsoft version. Once again, it's the exact same Python code and interpreter, but it's just from a different source, and it's installed a different way. Quick recap, the Microsoft version is installed in the Microsoft Programs Applications folder, and they're sandboxed. So they're in a memory space that can't reach out into your drivers or your network or anything else. The Software Foundation is not sandboxed. You normally have to go to the Python website and download them. I've already downloaded a few. Let's actually just install 3.10, 3.11, and 3.13. Alright, skipping ahead, I've installed 3.10, 3.11, and 3.13, downloaded from the python.org website, and it's just finishing installing the last one. So we can have multiple versions of Python installed at the same time. Now, in the last section, I typed Python, the command Python. We can still type the command Python because we have the Microsoft versions installed. However, it's going to actually run the Microsoft versions. The where command will actually show you what's running. The Microsoft Python executable is intercepting that command and running whatever is the latest version of Python from Microsoft. To launch Python from the Python software organization, the non-Microsoft install, we have to use the Python launcher, which is py.exe. And it'll do the same thing that the Python command does. It'll run the latest version by default available that you've installed from the Python Software Foundation. So if I type py, we can do it without the exe. Py -- version, we also get 3.13. However, the where command shows py, it's directly in the Windows folder. Oh, that's because I installed this with administrator rights. If you check the box when you install this to not use administrator rights, this would have been in your user profile. It doesn't matter where it is. The py command is running the non-Microsoft install. I have installed 3.10, 3.11, and 3.13. So as an example, if we wanted to run a different version that we already have installed, we could type py and then a space and a dash 3.11. Let's see what version runs. And there we go, 3.11. Now in the last section, using the Microsoft Python, I created a virtual environment using, I think it was 3.10. Let us open another command window. Make it a little larger. And this was in the D drive, in the test folder, in test 1. And we have to activate it. in the VENV folder which we created. Oops, not a forward slash. Scripts. Did I leave it there? Oh, sorry, I called it py311. We're going to run it directly from there. Scripts activate, which is actually activate bat. I'm going to type that in just so you can see it. And we're in the py311. Oh, it's 311, not 310. So we're in the 311 folder. And we're going to put that on the side for now. Now, we're going to go into the D drive test folder. There we go. Test 2. I can't spell. There we go, test 2. And we can see that there's nothing in there. We're going to create a virtual environment using the py command this time. Py with a version. Oh, let's use 310 since we installed it. Just to make sure, we can type version. See that it runs 310. So let us run the Python module, VENV. We'll call it py310. And enter. And then we can see in our test2 folder we have a py310 and a config file. That is running version 310. Let's activate it. So we can see our prompt is prefixed by py310. Just like on our other environment, it is prefixed by 311. And if we type Python version, we get 310. And this runs at the same time in a different window as our 311 here. Oops. Let's spell things correctly. There we go. So we have 311 here and 310 here. This window is running Python from Microsoft, which is sandboxed. And this window is running Python, the non-Microsoft version, downloaded from the Python Software Foundation, and it is not sandboxed. So at the end of the last video about the Microsoft Python interpreter, I'd mentioned the environment variables. Just a quick refresher. If you type set, you can see the environment variables. By default, my system installed no additional Python environment variables named Python anyway, and nothing in the path. Then when we did start a virtual environment, I'm going to start the one we made for the non-Microsoft. When we look at the environment variables again, we do have the virtual environment related variables, but the one we focused on was the adding of the virtual environment scripts folder to the beginning of the system path, which means it's going to search there first for any command. So if you type Python, it'll look there. Now, the reason we mentioned it was because if you're troubleshooting a version problem, you make sure that these variables are pointing to the right version. If you close your session and open a new session, those variables are going to go away. The non-Microsoft, or the version from the Python Software Foundation, as we saw earlier, uses the command py in place of the command Python, which is what Microsoft uses. The py can be set to use a different version. If you have multiple versions installed, by default, it's going to use the latest version that is installed. In this case, we have 3.13.5. There's two ways to change the default version. One is a temporary way in your session here, where we can just set the variable py_python equal to another version, like 3.10. So when we type set, we have that environment variable. And when we use py-version, it now uses 3.10 instead of 3.13. So this is because it is reading this variable and using the version that we have set there. Now there's another way to do this. We close that and open up our terminal again so that we wipe out that variable. And that is in your user's local profile. You can actually just type local app data encapsulated by %signs. And in this folder, you can create or edit, if it already exists, a file called py.ini, and in brackets type defaults Python. I'm not sure if that I don't think it needs to be in all the caps. Python equals 3.10. Now, I'm not going to save that yet. I'm going to show you that if I type py-version, it says 3.13. Now I'm going to save this file with 3.10 as a default. And if I just run the same command, it shows 3.10. So these are some other locations you can double check if you're having issues with your various Python installs and versions. Right. So let's go to the third type of Python install.